Yo, podcasters, check it. We here to thrill. Talking 80s flicks, and ain't gonna drink our fill. Got our brews ice cold, turn the volume up. From Top Gun to Ghostbusters, never get enough. Collaborate and listen to our reminiscing. Back to the Future and the Goonies crew. Pop the top, sit back, got a beer or two. Rock those big hairstyles and neon light craze. 80s tunes in the mix, rocking all our days. Collaborate and listen to our reminiscing.
All right, welcome everyone. Episode 7, collaborate and listen. How's it going, George?
All right, ready to get back at this?
Yep. So today we are talking about Weird Science. That's our movie that we're going to review today. We got a little bit. I think we'll talk a little Atlanta Falcons again today. The last time that we were on, George wore a Bijan jersey
That I will not be wearing on the podcast anymore. Although I do appreciate it. It was a birthday gift from my friend Mark, so thank you to Mark. But it gave us bad luck and we lost that weekend.
Yeah. So I'm trying something this week. I got a Falcon shirt, and then last episode I talked about a hat that I got for Boss's Day, and I said that I would bring it. So I got my Falcons hat, my Falcons shirt. I won't be wearing the hat. Well, I won't be wearing it any longer, but I did want to share. Thank you, Cami, again for the hat. I love it. It's not for indoors, but I appreciate that, and we'll try another Falcon shirt. Now, if this one doesn't work, then I won't wear this one on the podcast either. But it's been 2 weeks since our last recording. So the shirt, they lost against, who did they lose to?
Seattle.
The Seattle.
Yeah.
However, this past week they played Tampa, and we said that was going to be a big game. That's a division game, and they ended up winning that game.
Yeah.
So Atlanta is sitting atop the conference, looking good. So we can talk about them at least every time we come on. It's on a win week. That's fun. Do you know who they play this week?
This week they play
I think
Dallas.
it's Dallas. So
It's Saturday now, so they play Dallas tomorrow.
play
Tomorrow morning.
Here's what I'm looking forward. Now, for those of you not in Hawaii, we have daylight savings. Hawaii doesn't have daylight savings. And so we have to wake up at 7 a.m. to watch most of the Atlanta games. But midnight, daylight saving changes. We fall back. And so we will actually not have to get up at 7. The game will be on at 8 o'clock tomorrow. So little for anybody listening, not from Hawaii, that's I know for a lot of people they can't even imagine. But you guys get up at 7 a.m. to watch football? Like that's
crazy for us in Hawaii, thinking like these people are tailgating in the afternoon for
And
the
then
morning game that we're watching.
the other kind of funny thing is like on the East Coast when you watch Sunday night football or Monday night football, like those games don't start till like 7 o'clock, and even for us, like nighttime, the night football games don't start till like 2 or like 3 o'clock now. So we won't. Yeah, we're not here to talk too much Atlanta, but we said that when they're winning, we gotta give them a little shout out, a little praise, because it's not every season that they're winning.
Everything is working right now. Offense, defense, special teams, coaching.
You know what is more fun to talk about football with?
Beer.
With beer. I don't know why we didn't start with beer and then get to football after that. All right, so last time we also mentioned, I mentioned that for Boss's Day I got some things. So the hat was for Boss's Day, and then my team also got me some Hanakoa beer. So they bought Chihu Chongers. This is a hazy IPA. Let's hear the opening here. Ooh, that already. So when we record I guess every time we record, it's always like a good time to drink. But today I'll running around doing things, and so it's like I am thirsty for a beer here. So today we will be doing Hanakoa beers. I went to the store, bought a bunch of different Hanakoa beers. This is my favorite. Again, Hanakoa beer is, and anybody listening from Hanakoa, again, shout out to those guys. This is my favorite beers. I did try this one already. They bought me a 4-pack. This is what's left. So
What was this one again?
Chihu Chongers. Chihu.
Oh,
Give it
you
a
were
quick
talking about this
Chihu.
last time.
So looks hazy and tastes.
Delicious.
It's always delicious. All of all. So I didn't buy all hazy IPAs. I bought a bunch of different. I got. Well, we'll see when they come out. But some IPAs, a pale ale. I did a pilsner as well. So they got Hanako. I really like their hazy IPAs. I got some other stuff that I haven't tried before, and so we'll see how their IPAs and some of their other drinks. Most times when I go there, I just get the hazies because their hazies is a flavor that I really like. Quick quaffable scale. What do you think for this one?
I think I'd give it a 7.5.
See these I'm I don't know if I'm biased. I also wanted to drink this one first because I didn't want, like, sometimes you drink the other beer and it affects the taste of this
Right.
one. This is my style of beer. Like this is a good. I'll get. Yeah.
I almost want to give it an 8, but we have. I mean, like, we're just starting here.
Who
I don't want
knows?
to shoot.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll give it an 8, and then we'll see if anything. Right now, this is probably
You have to
top
get room.
tier. Like, yeah, I did have to have room to give. I mean, we
Who
can't be
knows?
giving up
Who
10s.
knows? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll go a little. I'll go as even 8.5 because this. I mean, it's what I like. Percentage wise, you want to take a guess?
ABV.
Yep.
Oh, I'm gonna say maybe like a 6.5.
It is 6.3. Very good. So it's not a super big, right? Some of the IPAs are up in the 7s.
Yeah, it's not heavy. I like the taste of it. Taste wise, definitely of the ones that we've had, I would say it's up there.
All right.
This might be my favorite. So I was looking up. So the last time we were talking about what the difference is, because we're always tasting these different flavors where it seems like it should taste the same and then it doesn't.
Right.
Like one almost tastes like there's grapefruit in it versus the other one which had like peach or mango.
Right.
So when I was just looking up different hazies, there are a lot of tropical fruits that they use, but it doesn't seem like they're really specific to what they're using for the flavor in these different ones.
Right. Yeah.
Because sometimes we have two where if I drank them on different nights, I'd like both of them, but drinking them together that day, for some reason, one countered the other.
Yeah.
And the taste is completely different.
And I've heard that about even with wine, and depending on the kind of food that you eat. That's why there's pairings. That's why they pair things. That this will bring out the taste. So, some beers, taste different. Pair them, drink them differently. Hanako IPAs, always enjoyed them. Now, that brings me to fact check, or last time we had the Elysian beer first, and it came out and it was a 19.2 ounce beer, and we said, oh, we got to go figure out why, like, what is this 19.2 ounce beer? It must be some kind of units or some reason for it. Did you look up anything more about that?
I just know when I went to Tamura's, I realized that there's a
whole bunch of 19.
Apparently, I just never noticed it before. 19.2 is a pretty common.
And so the story behind a 19.2 ounce beer is they're for convenience stores. So a lot of people will go after work, they'll go to the convenience store, pick up a 6-pack, and then go somewhere, or they'll pick up. Now you'll see a lot in the convenience stores is that they have a lot of singles, and they sell just people just grabbing a beer. And so the 19.2 ounce beer is mainly for convenience. They made them for convenience stores so that people, it's not, you just don't buy just one 12-ounce beer. So it's more than one, but it's not a whole 6-pack.
So it's like just when we were younger, we had like 40s. Like
basically, it's the version.
Let's just say I was 21 when I first started buying 40s. But
I remember when I see people drinking 40s. But that's basically, you buy, and then maybe even like you can buy a couple of different flavors. You can mix it up. People like to drink different. It's not just buying a six pack. You buy a couple of different 19.2s. We did we buy anything that was 19.2 last week? So Jordan, we went to watch the football game last week and went to Tomorrow's and saw a bunch of 19.2s. Did we buy one?
I think the ones that I bought were this size.
Yeah, but that's the story. I also it's like some kind of imperial pint, or there is something. It's not exactly that, but pretty close in measurement to something called.
It's a metric thing.
It's so yeah, they did, which is why the 19.2. But it's the same size can, so it fits into your cup holders. It's just a little bit longer, and it's made for convenience stores, I guess, to fit in the cup holders in your car when you're driving and drinking. That's probably not wise.
Yeah.
But fit your koozies
or in your golf cart. That's
that's not in your car.
Yeah.
But yeah, to fit your koozies, to fit things like that. So that's a quick story. Well, that wasn't so quick. It was a drawn out story of the 19.2 ounce beer. Couple other fact checks. So we said every episode that we would try and fact check things. One that I heard and I looked up, we said Jam Master Jay, that he had a couple of other names before Jam Master Jay, and I did look it up, and so he was DJ Jazzy Jace, and he was also known as Jam Master Funk. So he did have a couple other names before Jam Master Jay. He was also very much into music. He played in other bands, so he wasn't just learning how to do the turntables. What I also found out, some facts, is that he also played keyboard, bass, and drums on some of the songs on their album. So he wasn't not just the DJ. So that was a quick fact check for Jam Master Jay. And then one that we just looked up, the other one was Christmas in Hollis, a song by Run DMC. We said that it was that they performed on Beach Street or that, and then we're like, I don't think they performed. I think they just played it. We looked it up, and they couldn't have played it because Beach Street was from 1984 and Christmas in Hollis was released in 1987.
But there was a Christmas song that was performed in Beach Street, but it wasn't by Run DMC.
What and what was that one called? It was just we were just listening. Treacherous 3. It was called. Is it Christmas Rap? I think it's just called Christmas Rap. Yeah,
Something
that was
like that,
classic scene from Beach Street. Probably a movie that we'll eventually do. But if you remember from Beach Street, they were like performing at a club or something, and they were heads sticking out of the little black curtains.
Like a puppet show. Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, Beach Street might be one.
So something else that so another fact check. I think I had mentioned that Buckaroo Banzai may or may not have either created a graphic novel series or was created by a graphic novel series. It was not created by a graphic novel series because there was one person who, over a decade, I think his name was Earl Mac Rauch, but the theory of Buckaroo Banzai was thought up in his head over like a decade's time, and then he put it into a screenplay, and they made the movie.
That movie has about a decade's worth of different things going on for sure. It's like, oh, I'll put this in, I'll put that in.
But I also mentioned that I had heard that there were 13 other movies that came out, and it seems like there is, like, if you search it, I could find the titles, but I can't find any of the existence of any of these movies. But it led all the way up until there's supposed to be one being released Christmas of this year, but since the mid 80s to now, there has been about 13 movies that they came out with. And the cast members, if they were interviewed, they were saying that they originally were signing contracts for a 5-movie deal. So they were expecting to have more movies. I think it actually was a box office flop, and whatever production, the production company that backed it went under because of it. Well, I mean, probably not because of that one movie, but
it
didn't- yeah.
didn't keep them
it
going.
didn't have the results they wanted. They ended up folding, and there went the plans for the sequel or the multiple sequels.
Yeah, but interesting. I mean, even there's a lot of movies that are kind of based off of comic books or things that come on. And in fact, the movie that we're talking about today, Weird Science, was actually based off of a comic by the same name, Weird Science. And did you read that or did you see that?
I did not.
Yeah. So there's a bonus content just relating to that. That yeah, Weird Science was actually sort of loosely based on a magazine, a comic by the same name, or what is it, graphic
novel.
Graphic novel
Yeah.
by the same name.
So, but well, I mean, before we get off of Buckaroo Banzai, so I wrap it. There's a couple. Oh, so you mentioned one of your favorite quotes was "No matter where you go, there you are."
Right.
And that quote is not actually a Buckaroo Banzai. I mean, it didn't originate there.
Oh yeah.
It's a quote from Confucius that was used in Buckaroo
Confucius
Banzai.
saying.
But Buckaroo Banzai,
say
he might have made it popular.
We steal Confucius sayings. Well, I mean, Confucius was a smart man. Maybe that's. I wonder if people knew that it was Confucius, and that's what made it a memorable quote. I mean, they don't like quote him for it.
The movie was confusing, so it kind of worked out perfect. But also another great movie in the '80s, one of my favorites is Big Trouble in Little China with Kurt Russell, and there are some. I guess I would call it a rumor, but there was somebody that said that he had a few reliable sources that say that Big Trouble in Little China was a rewrite of what was originally supposed to be the second movie, Buckaroo Banzai versus the World Crime Organization or whatever that title was.
Yeah, which is neat because that's not neat, but that'll be a movie that we review. And having watched Buckaroo Banzai, I will watch Big Trouble in Little China with a different lens, kind of knowing what happened there, and it'll be more than just watching a movie. You'll try and make those connections to Buckaroo Banzai, and maybe we better not wait too long to watch Big Trouble in Little China. Maybe
we just got to remember,
yeah,
remember the relation.
Okay, and one last thing, I know we gotta get to our review, but we talked about The Ride
a few times, but
and we keep talking about this movie, The Ride, and last time we said it, we couldn't find it, it's not available, and that we were going to somehow hack into Hawaiian Airlines or see if we can get somebody to get us the movie. Well, good news. We don't have to be criminals, and we don't have to like strong arm anyone or ask for favors.
Maybe it was one of our listeners because the YouTube video that I found was about 2 months old.
Oh, really?
So
that's it? Wow.
Maybe he heard us talking about it and put it on there.
So good news, everyone. It is available. It is available for free, and it's on YouTube. And George found it. How did you find it, or what did you?
I just searched HIFF for Hawaii Film Festival or Hawaii International Film Festival, The Ride, and it was the first one that popped up on my search. I think when you did a search,
I tried it and it didn't come up. So it's called The Ride, and then I forget what was the rest.
Yeah, we'll have it on our social media.
So we'll post it if you follow us on social media. We'll post it to our social media, but put in The Ride Hawaii. By the end of this episode, maybe we'll look it up and we'll tell you exactly what to search for. But I'm sure you can find it. The Ride Hawaii International Film Festival. The Ride, but it's on there. It's called The Ride, and then it has something else like a phrase.
Evolution of surfing or something along the lines of.
Well,
white boy learns how to surf or something. He's I won't get into it. We've talked about it enough times.
But the good news is that we said that we would make it available, and we didn't really do anything, but it is available. We found where it's available.
John Ka'ava. plays one of the main characters, but he plays Duke Kahanamoku in the movie. Great movie.
That was another fact check. Was the name you weren't
I couldn't
sure,
remember
like,
if it was Sean or Paul, but
Sean.
Sean is the one. Yeah.
Okay, so let me finish up my last sip. All right, one beer in. Maybe it's like one beer. We do our fact check. That's like our segments.
Every
and then
segment,
yeah. Okay, this is next one is a pale ale. So this one's called Rooftop Pale Ale. This one actually my wife brought home. There's somebody at at her job that came and gave her. They like bring beer from Hanakoa, and so this was thank you Cheryl and thank you Cheryl's friend from work. This is so it's a pale ale. Shouldn't be as high in alcohol content. It's not going to look as hazy.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see how. This one is 5.2, so it is less in alcohol content. There we go. One perfect. And Hanakoa beer, they have a little saying here. It's called "Brewed for Adventure." I love that. Ooh. Smells like a pale ale.
Yep.
Definitely not a hazy. It's a
Yeah.
very, very different taste. To me, pale ales kind of taste a little bit like farts. I don't. Did you?
I'm not familiar with tasting farts, but
Tasting farts out. Like, just imagine if you like could taste a fart. Yeah, just it has a. It's the smell is. Maybe it smells like farts.
it's gonna be maybe it smells like you're a fart, but
Okay, so I don't drink a lot of pale ales. I'm definitely IPA drinker. IPA is a lot more bitter, so it doesn't have that bitter. It's actually a smooth beer. It goes down smooth, right? It doesn't have the bitterness. Somebody that was new to drinking craft beer, used to drinking pilsners and lagers, I would put them on a pale ale before I took them to IPAs. IPAs would be, oh, like this is bitter and hard to drink. So smooth drinking beer. Taste is all right. It doesn't have the same kind of taste that the IPAs have.
yeah, it doesn't have like that fruity
Not at
backing.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
not at all. It's a smoother pilsner type of beer, but decent alcohol. I mean, 5.2 is still a decent alcohol content. Quaffable scale. It's all right. I'll drink it. I'll give it like just a 5. I just see how much I love Hanakoa, and it's like
Yeah.
give it a 5. But
I'd give it a 6 just on the fact that it should, to me, it should go higher than the cookie butter beer.
oh, what? Okay. To be fair, cookie butter, we rated it high for a like dessert drink or like as for what it is. Like
It actually tasted, when we drank it, it tasted better than I remember it tasting when I drank it.
see,
in
maybe it was
California.
paired differently with
Could be,
something
yeah.
else. But as a beer to drink every day, yeah, that it was pretty good. But we have to give it, yeah. This was
Yeah.
way more drinkable than the cookie butter beer. All right. Well, we open our second beer, so that takes like we're done with our fact checks. We're getting into the movie review. So it is now time for Be Kind.
Rewind.
All right. So let me start with a overview. So Weird Science follows 2 awkward high school students, Gary Wallace and Wyatt Donnelly, who, frustrated with their social status and romantic struggles, decide to use a computer to create their ideal woman. Their experiment results in the creation of Lisa, a stunningly beautiful and confident woman with magical powers who takes them on a wild journey of self-discovery. Along the way, Lisa helps them stand up to bullies, break out of their shells, and most importantly, gain confidence. Ultimately, the boys learn that they don't need a perfect woman to feel complete. They need to believe in themselves. So that was a quick plot overview. Yeah, what did you I know the last time we talked, like you had just watched the movie even before we said that we were gonna watch it. You're like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I just watched that
Right.
movie.
Yeah.
And then you rewatched it again. You said you just rewatched it again.
It's been on cable for a while. So if you have cable, then you've had access to it for a while. I think it was on Showtime or Showtime or the Movie Channel, one of the two. But in either case, the rewatch, I think I looked at it a little bit differently because I had watched it more recently. So I was looking more for things that we could discuss in the podcast when I did the rewatch. But
yeah, when I watched it, same. I was just kind of looking at, because this was a movie that I watched a lot as a kid. So this was one that I was looking forward to. I was like there, and as I'm watching, it's like, oh, I remember that, and I could repeat a lot of the lines. But yeah, you're looking for the like, oh, who's that person, or did that person do something else, and what's going on. There's a couple people from the cast that went on to do a lot of things. Bill Paxton is one, probably the most. Anthony Michael Hall is also pretty well known to be in a lot of movies, but Bill Paxton, a lot. Well, let me go over the main cast. So Anthony Michael Hall was Gary Wallace, and then I don't even know how to pronounce this guy's name. I think it's Ilan.
Yeah,
but like Ilan.
You
be Ilan. He be Ilan. Da 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 da.
Yeah.
So was Wyatt. Ilan Mitchell Smith was Wyatt, who also was not like didn't do a lot of acting after this, and we'll
maybe Broadway, but we're not familiar with Broadway, so yeah, he definitely wasn't in a lot of movies. I did a search for him too.
Yeah, he did ballet or something even before he was cast for this. He was ballet, and
he looks like a ballet dancer.
But he's when I thought, like in watching the movie, I thought like this, like why wasn't he cast in other things? I'm like he's a good looking guy.
I mean, those are the questions like why did Jake Ryan only do one movie?
Jake Ryan could have
16 Candles.
He could have been.
He went and became a contractor. He's like a carpenter.
I did not know that. I assumed that he was in other movies.
No, I think after that movie, he didn't do anything else.
He could have been a pop.
Oh yeah.
A pop like culture icon, like everybody loved him for sure. Okay, Kelly LeBrock was Lisa. Bill Paxton played Chet Donnelly, and then even I got Suzanne Snyder was Deb. Judy Aronson was Hilly, and then Robert Downey Jr. small role in this film. He was Ian, and then Robert Russler as Max, and those were the main cast of characters in there. Kelly LeBrock. Let's talk a little bit about Kelly. She was what a lot of people know about her is she was married to Steven Seagal.
Yeah. But earlier in the 80s, I think she was a supermodel that converted to acting, right?
Was she?
I think she was a model, and then there was a movie with Gene Wilder called Woman in Red.
That was her first movie,
and I think that was her breakout. And then,
but she wasn't in a lot of movies.
Yeah, she wasn't in a lot of movies.
So I do remember that movie Woman in Red, and she was like beautiful, super sexy, and then she portrayed a character that was supposed to be that. And then in Weird Science, she comes out right. She's supposed to be like this perfect, like they created her.
Yeah,
she's the perfect
like sex symbol,
and
female sex symbol.
And then after Weird Science, she didn't do anything for a bit.
Yeah.
And then what I understand is like she was in a movie with Steven Seagal, and I think she was already married to him. But when they're in that. One of the Steven Seagal movies.
That was Hard to Kill.
Hard to Kill. I just remember all of his movies all have like 3 words: Hard to Kill, Above the Law.
Yeah.
Like I don't even. What else? You're a movie.
Those
Can you name one more?
2 of the better ones, but
Above the Law.
I'm trying to think of like 3, and I'm trying to think of 3 words.
Yeah, there might have been.
There's like Exit Wounds was one, but
Above the Law, I believe, was with Anthony Edwards. Who's blackish, and I know he's a anyway. Yeah, we're
Exit Wounds.
That was the one with him.
Yeah. And
So
Tom Arnold. That was a great
Tom
movie.
Arnold,
Yeah,
yeah, okay,
DMX.
right.
Yeah.
So those Steven Seagal movies were great. I mean, those were super popular movies. But yeah, he gets a as far as like he wasn't known to be a Brad Pitt, like a sex symbol or like somebody that would marry Kelly LeBron.
Yeah.
And when she married him, it was like, what? Steven Seagal? I was like, I guess he's an action
He's famous. She's
hero.
famous. That kind of thing.
I guess, but I remember it being weird. Like, what? She married him?
Yeah.
Like. But anyway, yeah. So she as beautiful as she was, and she really made them a lot for. I mean, for a lot of people watching that movie, is like, oh yeah, Kelly LeBron, like she's hot. She didn't do much after.
Yeah. Again, she probably could have like
gotten stuff
ridden
with
that
Jake
train
Ryan.
for a while more. Yeah, she could have done a
They
lot
could have
more.
done a movie.
But for whatever reason, yeah, she didn't do much after Weird Science, but
Yeah,
still maintained that sex symbol status, I think, to a lot of people that grew up in the 80s.
Yeah, and I thought, yeah, you would think that she was in more movies, but looking it up, she wasn't. I was like, I wonder what. Like, I was trying to think of other movies that she was in. I was like, I can't think of any. And then when I looked it up, that's why you couldn't think of anything because she wasn't in
I wonder
movies too much.
because she had a similar look to Gina Davis. I wonder if Gina Davis took more of the roles.
Could be, right? That's just
He just had that look, right? But so with her not having many more movies, there was somebody that kind of kicked off his acting career, and that was Robert Downey Jr., who is still a superstar in Hollywood terms. But Weird Science might have been it was probably his most notable movie that he was credited in to begin his
like
career.
his early career.
He was in some, like I found some footage of him in a commercial in like 1977. So he was like a little kid. But his dad was a celebrity. His dad was Robert Downey Sr. So the dad was already a celebrity,
Right.
and he kind of came up with that name. And but Weird Science became like his first step to superstardom, I think, because I mean, just being within the world of John Hughes, and actually, we're just the 80s because he was in Less Than Zero, John Hughes movies. He was in The Pickup Artist, but he became he was kind of known to be part of that Brat Pack, the St. Elmo's Fire group and the Breakfast Club group. Anthony Michael Hall too was part of the
yeah. It's interesting even for me. I never realized. I mean, all like watching, like back in the '80s, watching these movies, I didn't know or think of who Robert Downey Jr. is. Like really, not until Iron Man did I'm like, oh, like that's Robert Downey Jr. And for a lot of people, right, that's his breakout. Kind of like recreated himself. I know he got into some issue, like so he was in a bunch of movies, sort of in the Brat Pack. He got into some like drug problems, went downhill, and then came back and cleaned up, came back and got really popular. Iron Man, and been doing a lot of good things. But
he was in a TV series called Ally McBeal.
I read
I
that
think
too.
that was around when
but he got kicked
had
off
his
the show.
because he started having drug problems again, and then that's where
that was right around
he kind of he kind of went into a valley, came up to another peak with Avengers. He came out with Iron Man and came out strong. So
yeah, that was great. So a quick story about Iron Man. So my son lives in California. He works for a company called Massimo. Go look it up. It's like a medical supply company. They do things there, but their headquarters in Irvine, where my son works, is they filmed Iron Man in that building. And so if you watch Iron Man and he's like sitting down, he's doing an interview, and that's all at the Massimo building. So anyway, yeah, our son took us to the building. We're up in California. It took us, and yeah, just kind of showed us, yeah, like like you go over there. That's where they filmed it. So it was a cool connection. And you're like, wow, that's pretty. And when they filmed it, the building was brand new. They had just built it, and probably not everything moved in. But
knowing that, I'd probably set up like a some kind of Iron Man suit drone just to start flying around the building.
Why
every
not?
so
Yeah, every
And
every once
everybody
in a
like,
while.
Hey, look, it's a...
He's still here. But yeah, if you watch Iron Man, see that it's kind of early in the movie, that scene where they're doing interviews with him. That's in the Massimo building. And hello to Chase if he's watching or listening, which probably not. But maybe I'll tell him I gave him a shout out. Shout out to my son Chase. All right. So Anthony Michael Hall, right? Like probably one of the most, besides Robert Downey Jr., the other like most successful, I guess, or recognizable characters because of the Brat Pack and
Mhm.
But what other stuff besides John Hughes movies do you know Anthony Michael Hall from, or do you know any other things that he's from?
Oh, Anthony Michael. Oh, 16 Candles was John Hughes. That's the one that stands out the most. I'm sure I could think of some other ones, but yeah, it's hard because some of them they get tied in because John Hughes, once he liked you, he kind of it's
Part of
similar.
the crew, yeah.
Yeah, similar to like a lot of other um, directors or anyone that's in the film industry. They like to stick with the same people. Like Guy Ritchie movies tend to have a lot of the same people. Um, yeah, I think it's a pretty common formula. So Anthony Michael Hall in a non-John Hughes movie. I can't, off the top of my head, I can't think of it.
So I have one. I was a big fan of the National Lampoon. European Vacation was the one in high school.
Are you sure that wasn't a John Hughes movie? I
Yes.
think it. I
No,
think the.
no.
Um,
Okay, well, so here's the story, and then so probably. Okay, so well, here's the story. Maybe if it was John Hughes or not, I don't think so. But European Vacation is one that I watched a lot, and what I remember is National Lampoon's Vacation. Though I think that was maybe the original in the Vacation series.
yeah.
Right. They had Vacation, European Vacation, Vegas. So they had Christmas. Right. They had a bunch of different vacation movies. But Anthony Michael Hall was Rusty Griswold in National Lampoon's Vacation.
European Vacation.
No,
In the first one?
he was in Vacation.
The first,
In the first one, the one they're drinking a beer, like I remember, like they pull on the side of the road.
Because the kids kind of changed. Like Aubrey looked a little different. I mean, it was
so
different. Yeah.
the story is so the kids changed. So it started that in Vacation, Anthony Michael Hall was cast, and then they were gonna film European Vacation. However, Anthony Michael Hall committed to doing Weird Science, which was filming at the same time as European Vacation. So they had to find a different person to be Rusty. Hence, that started that every vacation movie has a different actor playing Rusty. But they wanted they would have had Anthony Michael Hall playing Rusty in all of the vacation movies. But Weird Science was the movie that he chose to do instead of European Vacation, which then made it a thing to keep choosing different.
I think that's so. I think what I read was John Hughes did the original, which could be, being that Anthony Michael Hall was in it, and why he might have asked Anthony Michael Hall to become one of the characters in Weird Science. Yeah.
Stay tuned for the fact check on the next episode.
Check. But speaking of European Vacation, so so you're familiar with Clark Griswold.
Very much.
Clark W. Griswold. Do you know what the W stands for? So I
did not. Yeah.
So and I don't think they really mention it in anything, but in European Vacation during the opening credits, there's a picture of his passport and it says Clark Wilhelm Griswold, and that's the only reason that I knew what the W was for. But that's trivia stuff. Random useless knowledge that I have.
It's bonus content for. But European Vacation, like I would love to to do that one. I know it's in the 80s because I know we watched it in high school, and like we used to quote that movie all the time. It's like Big Ben, Parliament, and like that. Okay, before we move on, my cup's empty. Your cup is empty. Let's do. All right, we're gonna. Okay, this one is called Peach Bum. Little Peach with his bum showing. This is another pale ale, but this is a peach pale ale. It's a 5.5% beer. I know that's making you thirsty.
I know, yeah. Anytime I listen back to the podcast, my mouth starts to water when I.
Oh, look at that! It's got sediment in this one.
Here you got some peach in there.
There's.
I saw either that or you got a fish in there.
Hopefully it's peach and not bum.
Yeah.
I did. So yeah, I mean, like when they brew beer, they don't. You got stuff that gets into cans, but this one. We'll see. Well, there was some pretty good sediment.
There was something moving around in there.
Oh my! Look at how much.
Oh yeah, mine has some, but mine actually I have a bunch too.
Oh, you guys can't see that, but there's a lot on there. All right, Peach Bum.
I taste the peach.
Yeah,
it's subtle.
To me, okay, so another smooth, a pale ale, not super bitter, not super hoppy.
I think I like it better than the first one.
The first pale ale.
Yeah, first pale ale.
I definitely like this one better. I think adding the peach makes it more hazy IPA, like it gives it a little bit more of that flavor.
The threat of whatever the sediment is kind of makes me feel a little more dangerous.
So there's something else in there, but it doesn't give. Well, this one doesn't smell like ass, I guess.
Yeah.
This one smells.
It's the peach. Better. It's not the bum.
Yeah, definitely less bum, more peach. The other one was a little bit more bum.
Yeah, more fart. Yeah.
Yeah, not ass. I don't know, difference between smelling fart and smelling ass. Maybe.
One would come before the other.
Yes. All right, but that's a pretty good beer. Better than the other one. Definitely better than Cookie Butter. I give it a 7. It's better. It's not 7, 7.5 even. It's pretty good beer. Smooth.
I would give it a 7.
7, yeah. I like it.
Which is pretty good considering it's not a hazy. So
it's not, yeah, and it's not. I mean, it's not an IPA. It's just as a pale ale. It's a really good pale ale. Really, really smooth. The peach gives it a good flavor. Good smell. I don't know about the sediment. Minus points for the dirt that's whatever's in there. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to go rinse that out or something. I don't know. Or just suck it up and do it. Yeah. Okay, now we were talking Robert Downey Jr. Well, not Robert, but Anthony Michael Hall and what else he was in. And so we mentioned this last time that he was also in Saturday Night Live. Right. I'm a big Saturday Night Live fan. I think you're saying like you watch Saturday Night Live quite a bit. Did you know that Anthony Michael Hall, when he was cast on Saturday Night Live, it was 3 months after filming Weird Science, and he was only 18 years old when he was on the cast. And did you know that Robert Downey Jr. was also cast on that same season? 1985-86 season, Anthony Michael Hall reunited with Robert Downey Jr. as cast members on Saturday Night Live.
I actually forgot that Robert Downey Jr. was even a cast member.
I didn't
until I was searching stuff because of this movie. Then I saw them talking about it, but there was a few people I forgot to check back on. One was Kelly LeBrock, and then one was Anthony Michael Hall. Uh-huh. The other people I was doing more background on. Robert Downey Jr., John Hughes, and of course that guy Rob Rustler.
What was his name in the movie? It was Max and Ian and Max.
Ian.
So he was Max.
Max.
Robert Rustler
as
Max.
who turns out he was in Nightmare on Elm Street 2,
Yeah.
Freddy's Revenge. But all of those great movies, at least the first three, I don't remember what 4 was, but I think 3 was the Dream Warriors. So, yeah, I mean, like I was a horror fan growing up. Still am a horror fan. I just don't scare as easily.
Oh, I scare very easily, so I'm not a. I've watched. Well, Nightmare on Elm Street. I watched a lot of. But I was not Exorcist and Red Rum. What is Red Rum? What is that movie?
That's The Shining.
The Shining. No, forget. None of that. I can't. As a kid, I would watch it and just be scared, like just like noises outside and who's there. I couldn't do it. Now I don't enjoy it. I get freaked out.
Yeah, I think when I the first time I watched Halloween, I was in Kapiolani Theater with my parents, and it was my first experience of a bad, like the evil entity in the movie that just wouldn't die, and it scared the shit out of me.
No,
And
no,
that kind of I mean, like I had to leave. I think they had video games. My mom let me go play video games while I
like
watched the rest of it. Yeah,
get your mind off.
and because it was like in the middle of the movie, I had to leave. But I was probably also like 7.
Right. Yeah,
When
it's
that
all
movie came out.
perspective for
Yeah.
that.
But
still,
after
yeah,
that,
I'm not into it.
yeah, I love horror movies. And
I'm not into horror movies at all. I did read like some books. Oh, Poltergeist was a movie that I enjoyed watching. I don't know if it was. I don't know. Like it was. I mean, it's still pretty scary, but yeah, Exorcist, like all, like I didn't. I was not. Those things freak me out for sure. Amityville Horror. I read the book, so I read the book, and there was a couple of books. Amityville Horror 2. I guess they had they had even the movie, right? There's a bunch of those.
Yes.
But like to know that that's based on true stories, right? Like Freddy, that's Nightmare on Elm Street. That's not real. But when you start like saying Amityville Horror and that stuff is really happening, I can't handle that. Like that's
there's a difference between movies that have like they put jump scare moments in there for you to have that value.
That's
And
Nightmare
then
on Elm Street.
you have like others with like Amityville Horror, and then even later when they did the whole Conjuring series,
Oh no, thanks.
which was actually the people that were part of the exorcism of that Amityville house. And
See, that's even that. Let's get back to
Anyway,
weird
back to weird
science.
science.
Whew. Okay, and we mentioned earlier we probably won't do a lot of horror movies.
Yeah.
But we also missed the opportunity for Halloween to do some horror stuff.
Yeah. So shout out to my daughter Haley, who gave some suggestions. Also, one of hers is technically I guess I would consider it a horror movie, but Tremors was one of her favorite movies that I made her watch, and
Tremors was Kevin Bacon and like it was like
Kevin Bacon and Fred Ward, who was Remo Williams. I don't know if we ever do that one, but that's a really,
I know that name. I don't remember
and,
that show. I remember that. I know that.
Or if you saw Sweet Home Alabama with Reese Witherspoon, Fred Ward was the dad.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Fred Ward was
that
her
a
dad
fun
in
movie.
that. Yeah. And then so Fred Ward and Kevin Bacon were the main characters in Tremors.
I did watch that though.
Interesting that we were talking about Big Trouble in Little China, because the guy Egg Young or whatever, whoever their mystical person was that they brought in with them, he was in Tremors also. And there's a few other people, but yeah, she had mentioned it, and then when I looked it up, it's actually from 1990, so we still might do it, but we'll hit a bunch of movies in the 80s before we spread out.
Yeah, we got time.
But she also mentioned one of her favorites was Lethal Weapon, so we can probably do that.
So yeah, I guess we can announce it now. I think the next movie that we do should be Lethal. Yeah,
we can do Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, we actually didn't agree before. Like we weren't even sure what movie we were gonna do. We threw some out there, but yeah, for Haley, what's up, Haley?
Yeah.
We'll do Lethal Weapon. That's a good one. And if we really like it, there's a few more that of Lethal Weapons
yeah.
that we can do
Yeah.
that still land in the 80s.
There's at least, oh yeah. And like I had mentioned before, the little kid in Buckaroo Banzai was actually Roger Murtaugh's son in Lethal Weapon.
Right?
There
Yeah,
would be
you
a
mentioned
connection
that.
to the
That's
two
right.
movies.
You mentioned that. All right. Okay. Now I created a little quiz. Well, let's get to the quiz. So as we all know, George is a big movie buff, knows a lot of movies, and knows a lot. I mean, we mentioned John Hughes films, and I wasn't like I know a lot of these films, and they're popular in the 80s. I did not know that they like even that this was directed by John Hughes, or know what a John Hughes film is.
Yeah, you have to. I think you kind of have to know, because I get confused sometimes because I'll see something and it feels like it's a John Hughes movie, and then it's not. But
Okay, so
but
hopefully,
yeah,
so I got 10 movies here, and play along. Maybe you can give it like a couple seconds before you answer, so that anybody that's watching or listening can make their guess as well. And so I have 10 movies here. Some of them are directed. So this is directed by John Hughes. So yes or no, true or false, this movie was directed by John Hughes. I'll start with the first one. It's an easy one. It's already mentioned, The Breakfast Club.
yes,
That's good.
that's me trying to give you guys time.
That was good. I'll give you seconds. Okay, so yes, The Breakfast Club, and I'll give a little. I also have iconic teen drama about high school stereotypes. All right. Next movie, Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
No,
That is not a John Hughes film. That is a teen comedy about high school life, directed by Amy Heckerling. Um, have you heard of Amy Heckerling?
I have, and that is a great movie. It is, to me, very similar to The Breakfast Club in the way that they
High
separate
school
the
life, yeah.
stereotypes and everything, and also recommended by Brother Fred.
So we will be doing
Yeah.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High soon. So
Yeah.
thank you, Fred, for the suggestion. We will be doing that. Yeah, but not
Not a John Hughes
not
movie.
a John Hughes film. All right. Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yes.
Yes, that is a John Hughes film. The ultimate high school ditch day adventure. Okay.
Matthew Broderick.
Matthew Broderick, 1986. All right. She's having a baby.
No.
Did you wait seconds, or were you
I was
actually
waiting 3
thinking about that?
seconds.
Okay. So that is a John Hughes
I was
film.
gonna say, is it? Did he direct it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So She's Having a Baby is a romantic comedy exploring marriage and parenthood. And yes, that is a John Hughes film.
There's Kevin Bacon in that too, right? Kevin Bacon and I forget who the main character was that had the baby. Was it Roz from Greece?
I don't have all of those. I just have yes or no for John Hughes. Okay. Some Kind of Wonderful.
Ooh, this is one of those that would confuse me because it's in that same. To me, it's like considered the same genre as a John Hughes movie. I'm gonna say it's not directed by him, but he's involved.
Wow, impressive. So yes, Some Kind of Wonderful is not directed by John Hughes, but it is written by John Hughes. That
Great movie. We should do that one too.
that is impressive. I was like, he's involved. Okay, so no, Some Kind of Wonderful, not directed, but written by John Hughes. That was directed by Howard Deutsch. It's a romantic drama about friendship, love, and social class. All right, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. 3, 2, 1.
Yes.
Yes, that is a John Hughes film. Road trip comedy, Steve Martin and John Candy. I just remember my favorite scene was pillows.
Polka polka? Is
No.
Was that when they were in Home Alone and she was trying to get home? One of the scenes where John Candy's at the airport and then she ends up catching a ride with them. I don't know if it was Planes, Trains, and Automobiles or if that was from Home Alone. They were like polka singers from Sheboygan.
Probably
They might have been.
Yeah. Maybe, I don't know. But I just remember, yeah, one scene was like all have to like be in the bed together. I think it's that movie, and then he's like, oh, something about like these pillows are so warm. It's like pillows. Those aren't pillows. He's got his hands between the other guy's legs, Steve Martin's legs or something. Okay. Adventures in Babysitting. Yeah,
I'm gonna say no, but it's similar. It feels like, oh, I don't know. That was Elizabeth Shue. I almost want to say it's similar to Some Kind of Wonderful, where he didn't direct it, but he was involved.
Okay. So I don't know if he was involved, but it is not directed by John Hughes. So Adventures in Babysitting, 1987. It was directed by Chris Columbus. Also,
Chris Columbus was another one.
What a great name, Chris Columbus. Thank you for Discover's Day. And
I think that's the name of his company is
Discover's like something.
No, it's whatever the year that Columbus supposedly discovered. Well, it was already discovered by the Indians, but anyway.
Right, yeah. Okay. This comedy follows a group of kids and their babysitter on a wild night in the city. All right. This is a movie I loved it. Can't Buy Me Love. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, I don't know. Another great. These are all like top 10 movies for me in the 80s. I'm gonna say no.
Oh, I forgot about all the.
You just drank it all?
I did. Here, I'm here. You want some?
I got some in mine.
Look, it doesn't have any.
It's probably just it's like what you said. It's probably the sediment.
Yeah, it's good. I'm glad it wasn't like peach rubbish. So Can't Buy Me Love, a romantic comedy about popularity and love, directed by Steve Rash, was not a John Hughes film. That was McDreamy, Patrick Dempsey, right? Like he was on Grey's Anatomy.
Ronald McDonald Miller, and he had $1,000. He was gonna use $1,000 to buy a telescope, and then that's when he saw the girl had spilled the red wine on her mom's suede jacket. Great movie.
That was a good one, and I just remember the final scene. He's riding on his lawnmower, and Can't Buy Me Love, the African mating thing. Then he took that and did the school
African
dance,
anteater dance or something. Yeah.
Classic movie. Can't Buy Me Love. And all of these movies are from the 80s, so possible to be on our list moving forward. All right, this one's a tough one. 16 Candles. No, okay. Well, we mentioned this about 1,000 times. 1984, quintessential coming of age comedy. Okay, Uncle Buck.
Yes.
That is also John Hughes. 1989, so late 80s, quirky family comedy featuring John Candy as an unconventional uncle. We've talked about Uncle Buck on a previous episode a little bit. Macaulay Culkin, John Candy, super. I watched that one quite a bit growing up too. I like that one. Yep. All right. You know what else I like?
Beer.
Another beer. Okay, we're gonna go with stepping it up. So we're moving. We started big. We went down, bringed up the peach. So this one is called Shades for Days. It is an IPA. It is 6% alcohol by volume. So pretty big. I'll just mix that with the sediment in there. Rinse that around.
So was that it for your...
Yeah, that was a 10. Very good. You
so interesting.
You did awesome.
Is John Hughes' infatuation with Chicago and the connection to his movies and Chicago. And then there's some movies that it's actually he just filmed it there, but they don't mention that it's in Chicago. But Breakfast Club, Home Alone, Uncle Buck. I think there was like about 7 or 8 of them
That they're all
that
like
they
based
were
in.
all filmed in, and whether it was meant to be known that it was in Chicago. But Ferris Bueller's Day Off, of course, they go to
Yeah,
Wrigley.
I mean,
They go to
that's right.
Wrigley,
Yeah, they're
and they
traveling
have the whole
around.
And then what is it? He's Abe Froman, the Sausage King of Chicago.
That's
And
right.
so it's Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Breakfast Club, 16 Candles, Pretty in Pink, Planes, Trains, Automobiles, Home Alone, Weird Science, and Mr. Mom. All movies that he did that were, if not just filmed in Chicago, intended to be known that the setting was in Chicago.
Yeah, and I think I read something about even the high schools
Yeah.
that they were like in that it was like the same high school, like from Ferris Bueller and from I mean that right? I mean even specific to the schools that they were at, it was like the same town and city and school even.
So it's funny, it was so Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, they're from San Dimas.
Right.
And
I would remember that.
we went to
Is there a water park in San Dimas? Is that a real
there might be, but there I actually went to go and watch my niece Lindsay.
Mhm.
She was playing volleyball. So we were in California and we were going to, I forget what the college was that we were going to, but I'm driving, I'm looking on the side of the road and I was like, hey, that's San Dimas. This is where and you look at it and it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Of course, my wife didn't appreciate it that I'm looking over at the side
While you're
and
driving.
I'm driving.
While you're driving.
Yeah.
But if San Dimas, California has a water park, they have to do well. Like
Yeah.
that's gotta be what is the saying from that movie?
From Bill and Ted's?
Yeah, from Bill and Ted's, where it's like like there because it's all about like the future and these
Yeah.
like
the
wild stallions, and they're gonna save the universe because
something
of
like,
their saying, which
Be
is
good
like
to
be
each
good to
other.
yeah,
Be good to each other.
I think that might
might have
be it.
Yeah.
Be good to each other. All right, cheers. Be good to each other. All right. Smells kind of like the pale ale.
A little bitter.
Yep. So
A
this
little
is
of the 3 that we tried. I mean, of the 4 total now.
because it is an IPA,
Yeah.
right? So it should be a little bit more bitter. Oh, look, they got a whole man. These guys have this in like miniature font. This has got to be like size 4 font. On like they tried to fit a whole page into a little portion of this can here.
You can keep talking.
All right. Well, I'll read what it says about the IPA here. So a crushable concoction. It was 96 degrees in the shade. Oh, 96 degrees in the shade. Also good song. 96 degrees in the shade. So we concocted some tasty refreshments. This crushable India Pale Ale was built on a hammock of Citra hops, strung up via some El Dorado and Idaho 7 hops. Oh, see, we said we're going to have to start looking into some hops and seeing which ones we like and don't like. Also, peep the shades, because those are made of Nelson and Rewaka hops. There's tons of different hops in here. This super tropical libation was made for that hot beach days when you just can't get no shade and you just lay out. The dude on the label gets it. Grab a cold one and hammock on friends. All right. Drink responsibly. So again, brewed for adventure, Honeycomb Brewing. Is it pretty cool? Like, I mean, that guy is chilling there for sure. All right, that's our Shades for Days
Does Hanakoa
IPA.
have like what's their backstory? Hanakoa in general.
I did read like so. I mean, so Hanako has a location down in the Ward area, and there's the brew. I'm gonna like we're gonna have to fact check this for sure, but it was like the girlfriend's or the wife's father like owned a location there. His dream, like he brewed somewhere else, and then he moved over, and then had the opportunity. It was like the stars aligned, that he had this opportunity, this place, and I forget where he brewed. We can talk about where that came from, and then started Hanako Brewery. But it really the brewery itself. So the beer is great, but the location and the venue feels a lot like a mainland brewery where they got good food, they got a lot of beer on tap. They also have a full well, so they got vodka and they got other stuff. So if you're not into just beer, they have other things for
Yeah,
you
they
to
have a
drink
pretty
there.
big like 3 or 4 tiers of liquor
Yeah,
across the bar.
they got
They got
have
a lot. They have a big
their
selection.
menu has specialty drinks too. They sell merchandise. So a lot of mainland breweries, right? They got their
Yeah.
merch. You got growlers and shirts, and they got a whole section that you can buy stuff. They sell their beer, so you can buy their canned beer. Not just so this we got at different stores from around, but they also you have a beer there, you like it, there's a good chance they're selling that beer as well. So it's a big location. You can actually have parties there as well. So they have an upstairs and a downstairs. And so I know like my cousin, we went there just my wife and I went for dinner, and then there's a big party going on upstairs, and it was a graduation party, or like my cousin's son, they were having like some kind of a graduation party. And yeah, so they host. Yeah, this is a good advertisement for Hanako. Hit us up.
Yeah.
Like we're like promoting you guys. Not yet a sponsor.
Yeah.
But hopefully they'll hear about and like we said, maybe we can record an episode there. But yeah, that's
If you guys go and check them out, make sure you let them know that you heard about
it.
heard
here.
about Hanakoa. Collaborate and listen.
Yeah, these guys are promoting your beer. They're drinking it, sharing all this stuff. So yeah, I go there regularly. We've been there together. In fact, appreciate this, but for my birthday, George and his wife Lisa got me a gift card for Hanako, and I said, "Oh, I haven't used it yet." I said, "Okay, we'll use this together." So next time I go, I've been saving it for us to all go there together, and maybe tomorrow. What are you guys doing tomorrow? Maybe we do.
That'd be great.
Maybe we
Yeah,
go watch
maybe
the
tomorrow.
We'll let you guys know if we did that. But yeah, it is a good location. The venue is great, beer is great, food is good. So that's definitely one of my favorite places to go, favorite breweries. All right. Anything else with the movie? We're moving along. This is our fourth beer. Normally, I mean, we limit ourselves to 4 beers, and we're already 4, so we might be getting close.
Well, I don't think we were. So we kind of cut ourselves off in the middle of the after talking about the actors, but we never did. Is there a
Like
favorite scene?
favorite
I think
scenes.
we've kind of started doing that too. So, what was your favorite?
So for me, couple of lines like when they first created Lisa, they went out drinking. They go to a bar. She gives them fake IDs, and they're all drinking. And then
Malakas.
Anthony Michael Hall's character, like he gets all drunk.
Yeah.
He starts like they're. But so what I remember is like they're driving home. So now Wyatt is driving, and Gary's in the backseat, and he's all twisted, and he's like, "Give me the keys, let me drive."
Okay, I'll drive.
Give me the keys, let me drive. And we used to say, not used to say that a lot, but every time somebody is drinking and they want to drive. It's like, give me the keys, let me drive. And it kind of comes up in a lot of conversations, but that was a funny one. And then in that same sequence, right, I forget like what happens, like why there's a car coming the other way or something happens, but then they kind of like get out of control, and then Gary's in the back and he's like, are you okay? And he's like, my nuts is halfway up my ass, but other than that, I'm perfect. And that scene and those two lines, I know for me, were like, I guess the like memorable lines, some stuff that we used to say all the time. You got any like favorite lines?
There's a lot. I mean, like that whole sequence when they're in the car to when they go into the bar and then they're like drunk and they're talking to like like they walk into like a black. It's like a black dominant
cigar.
They're like the only white people in there, and and talking with them. But I think for me, there's like a point. I was trying to watch it, and it goes on for a while, but it kind of starts when they go to Anthony Michael Hall's house to explain to his parents that he's going to go out to a party. And it's the whole chips, dips, chains, whips. He's like, it's like sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And it's not like there's going to be any nipple clamps it's the way that she's talking to the...
Yeah, so
you can tell, and a lot of it is probably just from the programming that she's gotten from them. But the parents are just like American Gothic looking, just like traditional family values type people, and they're just in shock at whatever she's saying. And I mean, like all of that up until the point where the party starts. And I mean, there's so much when like they end up going into the bathroom and they're talking, and then the two girls come in. Do you think we do? It's almost like a little like Dragnet type.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good reference. That's exactly what it sounds like. Kind of like behind closed doors, and you're talking. I think we should. I don't know. What do you think? Yeah, that was. Yeah, but there's a lot of now. Right after they come out of the bathroom, there's a scene where the bikers come in, and like Lisa is saying, like, man, we gotta get these boys to stand up for themselves. And I started like, wow, this guy is so familiar, and who like are these guys? Anyone? Did you look up anything?
I didn't, but I want to say I thought the bald-headed guy was the Toxic Avenger.
Oh,
he wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
He was actually in the original The Hills Have Eyes.
He was. You know who I thought he was? From the Goonies, I thought he was Sloth. he could have been. He was if he was bigger, he could have been Sloth.
Yeah.
From the Goonies.
But the guy from the main guy, the guy that had the shotgun, I want to say he was in Road Warrior, but it just could be because the way he was dressed there.
Mad Max.
But he was in Road Warrior. Yeah, Mad Max Road Warrior.
Yeah. So it's almost the same character. But
he probably has the same outfit on.
They do have different character names, but yeah, it was very much portrayed after, because the Mad Max was first, and then in Weird Science was same guy, biker, same character. Yeah, I read that too.
Probably same outfit.
Same. I'm surprised it wasn't the same character. That would have been cool if it was. But yeah, they kind of come in as Mad Max characters for sure.
But yeah, I mean, there was a bunch, and actually, one of the more memorable moments, and I guess I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but most memorable is the whole thing where she takes it all back.
Oh, and everything.
So everything starts going, everything goes in reverse, and it's all happening just as his parents are about to walk in the door.
Things flying back.
Yeah. And they're really just doing everything in reverse. Right? It's just like reverse photography, or
But even to get stuff coming out, so we did talk a little bit before about special effects, like in Strange Brew and Buckaroo Banzai, that the effects weren't that good. And then this movie was 85?
84 or 85.
Right. But around the same time, as Buckaroo Banzai, like maybe a year later. But if I like the CGI, so the nuclear missile coming through and all of that, that was I read it was CGI, but it looked real, right? I mean, like all the that missile coming through. I wrote down the year too.
Yeah.
But
But I have all these things with years, and I didn't put the year for this. It was 84, 85, so around the same
right,
time.
so around the same time as the other movies that we're talking about that have this like Buckaroo Banzai, were like, oh, it's about the same as Strange Brew, where they got. But anyway, this was pretty advanced, I think, with you don't think about the effects. I don't know if they really had pianos flying out of chimneys. I don't think that was real. I think that was. I mean, I read for sure that the missile coming up was all CGI and.
I think I saw something where they actually showed everything without the missile, and then the missile, which is pretty crazy to think back then that CGI existed at that level.
It was good. It looked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would guess that whoever did that also, we can. I don't know if you can even fact check that. I don't know.
I mean, keep in mind for our younger listeners, our younger audience, there was no internet in 1984 or 85.
There was not a lot of.
We barely had
lot of stuff.
computers. I mean, I probably at that point I might have had.
Yeah, Apple IIe in the classroom.
I didn't even have an Apple. Yeah,
Oregon Trail, and you're.
I probably had like a Tandy 2000 from Radio Shack.
Yeah, but it was definitely like if to have computer generated anything, special effects that looked that real. I mean, it was state of, and it was this was a top movie, and it was very well done. The effects, things going in reverse, like whatever they did, it was all. You didn't look at that and be like, oh, like what's going on.
Speaking of like capabilities for computers, I mean, like growing up at around this time, I was probably like at a really influential age where I mean, like I was gonna believe that this is, although outlandish, could be possible if you had like the right level of computer, which I didn't have, but I'm thinking that maybe there is a computer out there that can make whatever they're making. And around the same time, we had war games that came out.
Yeah, I was just when you started saying that, that's the first thing
like
I thought about.
The capabilities that the computer. I mean, at that point, probably like the greatest hackers of the world were probably only able to change their grade in high school. They could hack their
if they had computers.
Yeah, if they even had computers.
If they were even doing that.
But yeah, to think that you could take over NORAD.
Yeah, but to see right when they started hacking into these, like we need more power, and then they're in this room with all these
pulling into like the government computer,
and that was the same as war games. That's what you saw. That's what computers were before, like these in these big rooms with just these huge things going on, and somehow connecting to it. Like that was
the beginning of crypto mining.
What the internet and what all of that was. That was very, very advanced.
Back then,
thinking
like,
that
bulletin boards were the internet. That was, I mean, again, that was all shared networks.
All right. Anything else for weird science? I know we're
weird science. What did we agree on for our next? We were gonna go with Lethal Weapon.
Lethal Weapon. So we got that one. We weren't even sure what movie, so we don't know where you can watch it. But that one is probably readily watchable on Netflix or Prime. Not sure, but hopefully you can find.
We're gonna find out together
where to watch Lethal Weapon. We'll find out together. And if you can't find Lethal Weapon, go watch The Ride on YouTube. That's all.
Yeah, that's on.
Okay. I do have one game, a quiz for us, and another game. But before we get to our final game, as we close it out here, normally we do 4 drinks, but
Charlie brought 5
because it's Hanakoa. We brought 5. Now I saved the worst for last. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say it's the worst, but I saved the lightest one. So this one almost doesn't count because it is a 4.2% beer. So this one is called Rice Breaker. It's a Tokyo style Pilsner. So here's the art on that one.
Cool.
These will all also, I'll take these back home. These will all go onto my trash can. The labels will all go onto my trash can at home. Maybe I'll post that to social media so you guys can see all my labels since we're not putting it on the table.
Yeah,
We'll
we gotta
talk
be
about
putting it
that.
on the table.
All right, Tokyo style Pilsner. We did have our Tokyo Ale Works. We didn't have any Pilsners from there. That would have been cool to try. Is like if we had a Tokyo Ale Works Pilsner and then a Tokyo style Pilsner by Hanakoa, and the difference between those. So our fifth beer, 4.2, light alcohol. George is doing some research, looking up what do you
I'm looking up Lethal Weapon, so
available.
I found it on. Yeah, it looks like you're gonna have to pay for it.
Oh, maybe we can find it on YouTube.
Maybe maybe we can find it somewhere else. But even like on Amazon Prime, Fandango, Apple TV, all of them is like $3.99.
That's spend.
Sling. Well, you never know because what was the other one?
Tubi.
We found Buckaroo Banzai on
Buckaroo
Tubi.
Banzai was on Tubi.
So maybe it'll be on Tubi.
And even North Shore, which we paid for and we couldn't find. I did
found
find
out
a
that we
version
couldn't
of it
actually
on
watch
YouTube.
it,
It was a little different. All right, cheers.
Cheers.
Pilsner, last one. Ooh,
Oh,
well,
it's like a domestic.
it does.
Well, actually, it is clear too. I mean, it kind of has like that golden look, almost like a Bud Light.
I mean, all of those beers that we
Yeah.
tried before, right? Those are like Pilsners, like a Miller, but it's not. But it's not the same. It does have. It's definitely not a Miller Lite.
It's like a high quality
It's
Pilsner.
it feels like a Tokyo style.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what Tokyo style means, but
This could be it.
well,
Now we know.
we don't know what it means, but we know what it tastes like.
Yeah.
Tastes. I mean, it's good. It's not like, oh, let's just have a Coors Light. Sorry, Coors. I mean, they're not sponsors either.
Yeah.
We don't have to say sorry.
We'll say sorry if you sponsor us.
But if they sponsor, we'll be like, oh, this
Yeah.
is good, but it's no Coors Light.
Yeah.
Okay. Quaffable scale. As far as a Pilsner goes, it's a good Pilsner.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
definitely
I would
different.
give it like a 7.
Or on the Pilsner scale,
Yeah.
if you put this next to Miller Lite, Bud Light, Coors Light, or all
if
of
you're
the ones,
if you're comparing it to other like
this is delicious.
maybe I would give it like a 7.5 even. I would give it a 7.5.
On that scale.
Yeah.
Even I'll give it a 8 on the Pilsner scale.
Yeah.
On the like quaffable scale, like what I like to drink all the time. Still not bad. Like I could drink it. I'd still give it a 6.
It's like drinking if you have like a well whiskey and then you have like a top shelf whiskey. This is like the top shelf. Like it just
Right.
it tastes smoother. It's almost like it's more clean.
It's a good. The best Tokyo
It's
style
from-
Pilsner I've
it's
ever
from-
had.
It's from Mount Fuji. It's not from. It's not from the.
I can guarantee
Where
it's
is
the
it?
best Tokyo style Pilsner I've ever had.
Mount Rainier.
Okay. All right. So we know the movie that we're watching. We finished reviewing that. We're gonna do one last quiz. We got a little game, and so there is the theme song from the movie titled "Weird Science" by a group named Oingo Boingo. Now, George, you could name another song from Oingo Boingo. I could not. Like, I've never listened to any other song.
Maybe you just don't because
If I heard it, I would maybe
Dead
know
Man's
it.
Party. I think if you heard it, you would recognize it. Probably from other movies that we've already named.
But offhand, if you said, hey, name another song by Oingo Boingo, I couldn't do it.
And that's probably the only other one. that
And
I
if
could-
you asked me before even looking it up, if you said who sings Weird Science from the movie, I would not be able to tell you that, right? So I've heard of the group Oingo Boingo, but not. So last episode, George gave me a quiz on Run DMC, and he asked, like, "What's your favorite genre? What are you into?" And both of us, right, 80s rap, collaborate and listen.
Yeah.
All of this is our genre. That's what we're into. Oingo Boingo, not so much. So we're gonna do a quiz, random. I got random songs that I don't know the answers to, and we're gonna just play some songs so you can play along too. If you are an Oingo Boingo fan or in that genre, we're gonna play first to maybe not to 10. I don't
All
know.
the Depeche Mode people are gonna dominate this.
We might be here too long, but let's go first to 6. Okay, you get 1 point if you can name the group. You get 1 point if you name the song. So 2 points possible for each song. And this is based off of
I'll keep score.
Oingo Boingo Weird Science. All right, so not looking who's there. We'll look, we'll pick it, and then hopefully I'm putting this right by the microphone, so you should be able to hear it. I'll turn it upside down, then I really can't.
Oh yeah.
Okay, here we go. Ready?
The King.
The King. Oh, okay. One thing leads to another. Okay.
It was a tie. That was a good.
Okay, let me check it. One thing leads to another.
The King.
No, it's not the Kings. 1 point. Okay, so I wouldn't have got this.
I would say that was a tie with our title.
I think you got the. Okay, I'll give you 1 point for the title, but that song is by the Fix.
Fix.
The name. So, okay, 1 point. 1 point for George. Okay, ready? Next song.
Red Band Party. Oingo Boingo.
See, I don't know this song.
I get both.
Okay, that was Dead Man's Party by. You said like, oh, you'd recognize it.
Yeah.
I didn't. Not at all. Okay, that was Oingo Boingo Dead Man's Party. All right, so 3-0. Okay, let me lube up a little. All right, damn, we might be only 2 more songs and then this is over. Okay, I gotta do better. Okay, here we go. Next song.
Wild Wild West.
Oh no! Oh yeah.
The Wild Wild West.
I don't know who this is. I have no idea. I'm gonna have to give a time limit. Like it's okay. So that was Wild Wild West by the Escape Club.
Escape Clubs. I don't know.
You knew that? See, you're alive. I don't know Oingo Boingo and all. Okay, you're. Wow, is that 4 points for you?
Yeah.
All right. George has to go to 10, and I'll go to 6. Okay, I got it. Come on. Here we go. Oh, Love Shack B-52s. 2 points.
No need to confirm. I confirm.
Okay, 2 points. On the board.
You did it. You did it to Oingo Boingo.
Science.
Blinded me with science. Peter Gabriel. Is it Peter Gabriel?
No, but
That's a group.
Well, you guessed wrong already. You can't guess it. But I didn't know that. Okay. She Blinded Me with Science is related to Weird Science, and that is Thomas Dolby. Thomas Dolby invented Dolby Stereo. Did you know that?
We're gonna have to fact check that.
I'm sure he did.
I'm gonna throw the yellow flag out on that one.
Yeah, for sure. It's Thomas Dolby. Because he's
Okay,
into
wait.
science.
Did you get points for that?
No, I did not.
Neither listed. Okay.
Okay. No, you got She Blinded Me with
Right,
Science.
okay. We'll just keep going because this is a good.
Okay.
Fun.
Well,
We got to give you a chance to catch up.
okay, next song. Oh, Who's
He's always,
I always feel like somebody's watching me.
yeah.
By
Corey.
I wonder if people can hear us when we're talking over the music. Okay, I don't know who sings it. But I'll know when I look at it.
Right.
Oh, it's Rockwell. Okay, knew that. Okay. Oh, well, at least when we pause it, you can hear us. So Rockwell, somebody's watching me. Okay, so I got 1 point.
I hope there's more than 10 because this is going to be fun.
Okay, next song. Safety dance.
No.
No? Oh. Okay, I guess wrong already. Yeah. Oh, dance hall.
Dance all night?
Nope. Okay, so we both guessed wrong on the song. All right, that was Dance Hall Days by Wang Chung.
Oh.
Yeah.
Everybody Wang Chung tonight.
Everybody have fun tonight. Okay, next song.
Electric Avenue. Eddie Grant.
Eddie Grant. Eddie Grant, like,
I
this,
had this.
yeah, that was a good
You had that
CD.
tape? I had the tape. Did you have that?
Definitely, yeah.
And,
Electric Avenue was his most Killer on the Rampage.
Killer on the Rampage, and then it also had Another Revolutionary and War Party.
War Party, me no wanna go.
Heard about the last one, so thanks.
But no thanks. Oh, okay. No idea. Any guesses? Okay. That was Things Can Only Get Better by Howard Jones.
Howard Jones. I love your hotels.
All right, what's the score? We'll do.
I got 7-3 right now.
7-3. We'll do 5 more songs.
Sure.
Okay, 5 more songs. Oh, the build up.
Our house. Madness.
That was a lot of build up. Okay. I do remember this. I do remember this song from Revenge of the Nerds. No, that they were like our house.
Bringing down the house.
So it was. Who did you say it was?
Madness.
Okay, that's not correct. It is, and I didn't get it either.
I was thinking of another. I was right with the Our House and Madness, but that's not it.
Okay, so Burning Down the House by Talking Heads.
Ooh.
Okay, that was
all songs that I had on those compilation tapes.
I Want a New Drug Dealer. That was not from Back to the Future, but Huey Lewis was in a lot of Back to the Future soundtrack. This wasn't from that.
7-5.
Okay, that was 2 songs. 3 more. Robert Plant. Everybody Wang Chung tonight? That's not right.
I know it. I'm not
so
gonna,
funny.
I'm not gonna get it. It's not fair that I keep going. So
we just said it. It's Everybody Have Fun Tonight And it's by
Everybody
Wang Chung. It's Wang Chung. It's by Wang. I didn't know that the name of the group was actually Wang Chung. I thought that was just the name of the song. Everybody Wang Chung tonight. All right, I think that was 4 out of. I can't. I've been keeping count, but not really my hand. Okay, so last one, I think.
In excess. Something tonight. In excess. Love me tonight. No.
Need you tonight.
Need you tonight.
I need you tonight. Okay,
Yeah.
you got a point for in excess.
Okay.
All right, that's our Oingo Boingo quiz.
8 to 5.
8 to 5. All right, good job.
Good job. Good comeback with your Huey Lewis.
Got. At least it wasn't a full blowout. Yeah. So, not our jam, our like most listened to, but these are. I mean, comes out. I mean, we knew most of the songs, or it's familiar.
Again, I mean, like especially growing up in the '80s, if I wasn't outside, I was probably watching MTV. So
that's true.
At any time, it could have been your MTV Raps, or it could have just been anything. I mean, MTV was playing just about every genre, and
yeah, there was a lot of. I really got in MTV. I really got into like '80s rock, like Def Leppard, Quiet Riot, Scorpion. Like those are groups that I would not listen. Right, like I'm '80s rap, Run DMC. That's what I listen to. But because of MTV, I got
more of the other. Yeah.
I got, and I really started liking Def Leppard. I had like Quiet Riot, Come On Feel the Noise, like I bought that.
Yeah.
Def Leppard, Pyromania,
and back then it had a lot to do with like they were getting credit for making these videos that were almost like movies,
Michael Jackson started like
when he did Thriller. Oh yeah.
All right. Well, we're probably like way over time. We didn't even time this one, and I don't know how long that was, but we're 5 beers in. We got our quiz. We got our next movie. We talked about weird science. I think it's time to wrap it up.
Yep.
And
we both have a little bit left.
Yep.
Not to say that that's where we're gonna stop. But
cheers on the last drink
video.
On the last drink for the session. All right. Cheers, everyone. Episode 7 in the books. Go watch
The Ride.
And The Ride.
Yeah.
Go watch The Ride. And we'll see you next time for Lethal Weapon. Thank you, Haley, for the suggestion.
Yeah.
And we'll see you all later. Cheers.